Welcome to CCRPG, where we open up our virtual table and play games with some good friends. I'm Bob, and I'll be running Lancer, an RPG by Miguel Lopez and Tom Parkinson-Morgan. You can find it on itch.io. Last time, the DBC crew narrowly avoided a sabotage plot thanks to quick thinking from Evelene and quicker action from Steve. After talking with Keith Talonflare, security at the landing areas has been increased, and our pilots have been given tentative permission to investigate White Rabbit's territory. They deployed and went to follow up on a lead Dyne was able to find. At the shelter underneath the community center, they found plots and murder. A dead minor bureaucrat and the notice of an assembly 1 week before contact was lost with Hylar, taking place at the city hall downtown. They had no time to process these things, however, for as they rose back up to the surface, a great sinkhole swallowed large parts of the city nearby. Dust fills the air as buildings collapse and work crews desperately try to find safety. Pilots.
Hello.
Nearby,
Hello.
on the border with Kingfisher, some sort of disturbance has opened a sinkhole. Blocks of the city have collapsed, trapping and injuring salvage crews on both sides of White Rabbit Kingfisher territory line. The magnitude of collapse has made even neighboring areas more difficult to traverse. What do you do?
All right.
I believe we're heading over there, correct?
Yep.
Why?
Yeah, I think we discussed it last time. And we're gonna go over cautiously and check out the situation and see if we can help, and perhaps endear ourselves to the White Rabbits by assisting in this disaster.
All right. Well, you guys are fairly close by. You're only a few blocks away, but the scale of the disaster is quite large. It seems almost radiating out from a point that is close to like right on the border between White Rabbit and Kingfisher. Both sides have been caught in this kind of collapse. I narrated at the end of last time, all of a sudden, like a bevy of emergency transponders start going off on both sides. You're seeing just work crews left and right who are in duress, who are calling for help. You know that people have probably mobilized, but it's going to take them a while to get here. And you're probably closest to the scene right now. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do with that. But what I will say is the sinkhole, it seems that like some sort of disturbance, all the buried bits beneath the city and all the work that's being done on it maybe have taken its toll. It's hard to tell from this distance, but it does look like large scale, like infrastructural failure. Several blocks of the city have slightly even sunk as the underground infrastructure below the city has given way. So not only is there a giant sinkhole in the center of the city, around that, like all the surrounding districts have like sunk a little bit and have broken away from the areas around it. So imagine like there's a giant sinkhole in the center filled with like a grand hole of twisted pipes and rebar sticking out of it. But even surrounding that, the districts have like sunk and twisted, and a lot of buildings have collapsed just from the shock of the moving earth beneath them.
Yeah.
So it's not just the epicenter that's hurt, it's like radiating out. The damage gets less and less bad the further away, but it's still pretty bad in every direction.
All right. Yeah, I say we head out there and see what assistance we can offer. Anyone?
How far away from the DBC?
The DBC is further north in the center of White Rabbit territory. You're on like the southern edge of White Rabbit. So imagine if the city is a big pie, right? Mm-hmm. The northern slice of the city is White Rabbit's territory. So you're at like the bottom of their wedge of the city, and the DBC is north in that wedge.
How long would it take me in the mech to get there and back, I guess?
To get to the DBC and back? Maybe like 20 minutes.
Okay. That might be too long. Okay.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking about going back and grabbing medical supplies to set up a triage area.
Well, we got a doctor.
I mean,
Well, yeah, just use your hands. What's wrong with that, Dyne?
I don't know, Dyne. Do you carry medical supplies with you?
I mean,
does,
don't forget,
actually.
I have a triage station on my mech. That's part of my
Yeah, but I thought that
personalizations.
was like for small time. I didn't realize it was like a full triage, like you're working with multiple people. I thought that was like one or two people got hurt and you got band-aids.
It's a triage station with enough supplies that I think reasonably I could treat a few people enough if you wanted to go get them and back, that I would be able to help some people.
We also have to assume other people are bringing it too.
Yeah. To make it reasonable, the amount you carry with you, your mech's pretty big, and you specifically chose that this is what your personalization's benefit was going to be. I would say you would have maybe about as much supplies in there as an ambulance reasonably would have. So like not enough to like respond to maybe the scale of this disaster, but like there's enough supplies in a single ambulance to take care of multiple people, right?
Yeah. Like I would be like enough that I could begin triage as needed as we wait for more people to arrive.
Okay.
Yeah, you have as much as a first responder would have.
Yeah.
Then I'm just gonna ask Comet, like, are we okay with the pirates taking advantage of us if we help them?
All right.
What do you mean? I mean, I'm assuming we're en route at the moment too, by the way. But
sure.
I mean, if we could help them spend a lot of our resources doing it, and they may not care to do anything in return. I'm just asking if you're okay with that.
Well, that may be the case, but the way I see it, if there's people in trouble, and if we can help them, that's all the reason I need.
That's very noble of you, but these same people could
very
well turn and be
pose. Though you can't see because he is in his Mac.
Sure.
He turns on his camera and transmits it to everyone's monitor so you can see.
Just a selfie of him in a noble pose.
Yeah, he looks slightly off in the distance. Sets his jaw.
Fist in the air. Yeah. That is very noble of you, Captain, but these people that you're talking about could very well be our enemies if we so much as cough in the wrong direction here.
Yeah, well, that's true, but we are if we help them here, we may not get anything in return, but we would at least improve our relations with them a little bit. It could benefit us in the future. Is all I'm saying.
At least with White Rabbit. I mean, I'm sure some White Rabbit signals in there. I mean, I'm sure we could always afford to be better with them.
Well, I'm mainly talking about White Rabbit.
Oh.
Yeah.
I kind of assume we help other people as well. No, I kind of smack. Fuck those guys.
Well, so this is on the border of Kingfisher and White Rabbit. Those are, as far as you're aware, the only two regions affected.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if you guys think so, I'm here for it too. Then I'll fly up ahead and start trying to save people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we may be on shaky ground with them, and this could go a long way towards earning their trust a little bit. So I think it's worthwhile doing, even if we don't get anything back.
What do we know about Kingfisher, by the way?
What do you know about Kingfisher?
Is that a roll?
Well, you haven't asked anyone, and you don't have any contacts with Kingfisher, so at the very least it would be a check of some sort to determine what you know going in, and you would have to tell me where you thought you got this information from.
I'd like to do a roll based on my interactions with the White Rabbit folks, since I worked with them all day. I'm sure
see if it's something that came up. Yeah. I will say that the downside for failing this roll is that you have like only the barest idea of what Kingfisher is about, which you think is a good idea of what Kingfisher is about, right? So either you know what Kingfisher is about, or you think you know is the failure case, but that's not actually enough.
Okay. I'm going to use
word on the street.
I do have word on the street.
Nice.
Do I get anything from working with the workers, or is that literally why I'm allowed?
That's what's allowing you to make the roll.
Okay, then it's a d20 plus 4.
Yep.
Which is a 9. Good roll. Good starting roll.
You were very interested in steering your conversation towards White Rabbit while you were talking with them. So they didn't really talk about the other groups. Like, you very specifically steered the conversation towards Smack and White Rabbit the entire time. So I will say very specifically, and this is going for future checks, you did not learn anything about either Bete Noir or Kingfisher. So Evelene, what you've lost is the opportunity to know about these things. You did not learn about the other groups. You will need to find that info elsewhere.
Okay. That's fine.
While we're on the move there, Bob, Dyne is going to purposefully be looking for a location that he can set up a sort of triage station so that when people are rescued, they can just move them there. So it'll be far enough back away from the disaster that it'll be safe to move.
Okay. Well, as you guys are moving, I assume are you going to move basically directly towards the first like emergency transponder signal, or like
I'm
I said, like
there.
Okay. So KESTRAL, Steve, you get there a little bit earlier. There's going to be a couple of different crews and stuff. What I'll say ahead of time for players here is that each of these is going to be a different kind of issue depending on how many you try to help out with. So I will assume that each of you can, like, probably to the best of your ability, help with one of these. So kind of determine which of the four of you is best to deal with each issue. So the first issue you come across, Steve, you get there first, so you kind of see what's happening in progress. There is a trapped work crew. Only their machine that they were working in is holding up the rubble from collapsing on top of them. Unfortunately, the way it is crumpled, the machine they were working in, under the weight of the collapse, has also blocked their exit. So they're basically trapped in a steel cage that is crumpled around them. And while it has protected them from collapsing rubble, it has also fused them basically into a big steel cage they can't get out of.
Okay. I am going to look for rebarb or steel pipes or something that I can prop up next to this vehicle that's trapping them.
Mm-hmm. Assume it's like a heavy construction vehicle, so we'll call it like a large like dozing machine of some sort.
Yeah, like a cat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I just want to make like different supports that will hold in place of that so that I can then remove that machine instead.
Okay.
So does that make sense? Like to prop up like
you're gonna try and shift the weights of the rubble onto something more secure so that you can mess with the thing underneath without it collapsing. Okay.
Yep.
What do you think that's a check for? And reminder that if you're doing stuff in your mech, you're gonna have to use your mech statistics for it.
I'm
So that'll be hull, agility, systems, or engineering.
I'm trying to work quickly, so I'm probably overestimating how much needs to be put there, but just doing it as fast as I can. Is that trying real hard to lean into agility, which I'm good at here.
I get you. This is unfortunately like a very physical based impediment that you have here, which is just like it's a bunch of weight crushing something. You can definitely do what you're doing. I will say that you can do an agility check with your mech, but it will have difficulty.
Okay. And then just add the flat agility points, right?
Yeah, it'll just be a D20 plus your agility, which is I think a +4 for you.
It is, yeah.
And then
do you
minus
do grit
a D6
in this situation or no?
No, it's just a plus agility on this.
Okay, I never know when to add grit.
Grit's I think mostly for like attack bonus, right?
Yeah. Mm.
Oof, yeah. The -4 on the difficulty basically canceled out your agility. What I will say is that you're working fast. And you are getting some stuff in there, and you think you've piled up enough stuff to like hold the weight back a little bit for you, but you've lost a lot of time doing this, because like you said, you overestimated what you need, and you did work fast doing it, but when you go to deal with the people who are trapped, you realize that you just don't have the strength to tear it out from the rubble. You did shift the weight, but even with that, the machine itself has been crumpled and crushed into the debris in such a way that you can't get into it easily.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna message Evelene and say, "Hey, Chimera, come to this location and help these people out."
Yep, on it.
And then I'm off onto the next one. Then
you just use jet.
Okay. You set it up, and then Chimera, let's see if you can knock it down. Chimera, by the time you get there, you see that Steve has set up kind of a lean-to style system of rubble where he has supported some of the crumbling structure on various supports around the mech. It's like not a mech exactly. It's more like a heavy construction vehicle. Sure. It is crushed and collapsed and kind of fused into the rubble in such a way where you can hear people like pounding on it, trying to get out. And you know that there's a signal, an SOS signal coming from it. There are no obvious exits from the machine, as crumpled as it is, for them to get out.
Could I just is there a way to just pull off the door or something in order to provide an entry, or could that disrupt the entire area?
Well, let me put it this way. I will say, because Steve has set up a structure system, I will give you a bit of a bonus there for the risk is no longer will the rubble collapse on all of you while you're trying to do this. The danger is now, can you do this delicately enough to both tear open the side of this metal but not hurt the people who are in there?
I think I'd maybe the priority first is at least get it out of that situation. Pull the if I can. What would happen if I just tried to pull the machine out of the rubble, at least, just into a safer place without disruption, and then focus on the door after?
What would happen is that is a more difficult hull check.
Okay.
It would be a more difficult hull check to remove that thing. It's more physical activity that it would take. So that would negate, you would get accuracy, but then you would also get difficulty. So that was canceled out to a normal roll. If you just try to tear open the side because you're not disturbing the rubble, you would just get the accuracy. But the dangers are different things, right?
Okay, I'll just tear it off then.
They're in the machine that has crumpled around them.
I thought they were behind it and the machine was trapping them.
They're in the cabin of the machine, and the collapsing rubble has bent the metal around them. The crumple zones have all crumpled in, right? So they're safe in there mostly, but the door won't open, right? They're stuck in there. It's like a steel cage now.
Okay, yeah, then I'll just try to open the door as is. I'm not sure. This is potentially a stretch, but this feels a lot like a cave-in type situation, which Evelene has some experience with. But if you think this is
no, I like that, because very specifically the kind of mining work you did on your in your former life, this is you very specifically worked with a work mech, right? That's why you know how to drive mechs in the first place. This is the kind of thing you would help with, right? When people are in danger, they would send you in with this kind of mech to try and help. So I will also give you the accuracy on the roll from your background.
So that's 2 accuracy there?
It's a flat roll with 2 accuracy, because this is specifically what you're good at doing.
Yeah, and that was part of the reason why, last session, Evelene newly jumped into this, because she's I've done this before.
This is what she's used to doing, yeah.
Okay, so
that, with your hull, that's a +4, +2 accuracy.
So that's +6?
No. Your hull is 4, right?
Yes.
So it's a d20 +4, and then you roll 2 accuracy dice and take the better of the 2.
Yeah, okay. So the straight roll without accuracy is another 9. Holy shit.
Well, you got a 5 +4. It actually doesn't matter what you roll on your accuracy. Your accuracy makes you win this, because you're at 9. You can the worst you can get is a 1.
Yeah, I rolled a 6 of the higher of the two. Not that it matters, but 15 total.
But that is a 15 total, which represents like how proficient you are in this. Like it is because of your background, and it is also because of the help that KESTRAL provided that you feel comfortable like wading into this and taking charge. You get in there, you tell people to stand back, and then you like the claw hand basically of your mech in such a way you basically turn it into the jaws of life, right? You crush the door out of the way and then throw it behind you, basically making a large hole in the side of the machine that everyone can crawl out of safely.
Yeah, as I get the door open, I'll just say like, "Y'all right in there."
Yeah, they're super thankful. These are some white rabbit workers. They're looking up at your mech and they're like kind of scampering around. They're helping each other out of there. There was like 5 of them in there.
Ooh, that's a lot of people.
They were cramped. Yeah. One of them tells you that like as things started crumpling around them, the only stable like structure around them was the machine. So they all kind of piled into the machine to like get away from the crumbling buildings.
I'll ask if they saw anything that could have potentially caused this. I don't have high expectations, but they are witnesses.
Yeah, I mean, what they will tell you is they heard the rumbling kind of radiate out from the epicenter, and then everything started shifting and moving. So they heard something before things started collapsing.
Okay. I guess Evelene will help them get to a spot where they can take care of themselves, and then we'll report this over the line for everyone else to know that these people have been rescued.
Yeah, we will count those people as successfully rescued. All right. The next group, which also KESTRAL gets there the quickest, kind of your forward scouting party on this, you will see that a fissure has opened up, and a transport is teetering over the edge of the fissure. The approach to the fissure itself looks like it might crumble in if too much weight. So imagine like almost like a cliff on the edge of a fissure. Not only is this transport like teetering over the edge, it looks like if much more weight is put onto the side of the fissure, that whole side might crumble into the fissure. And there are just people transmitting an SOS signal from inside the transport.
Thankfully, I can fly, so I will not put more weight as I go to assist.
That sounds like accuracy to me.
Do I think, just hard to see in my mind's eye, do I think based on where it is it better to go behind the transport and Superman it back up so that it can like get away, or is it like tipped over, or
it's like teetering over the edge? So imagine the front 2 wheels are over the edge and the back 2 wheels are on the edge. So like if it goes forward anymore, it'll tip into the ravine.
Right, but if I'm at the front pushing up on it, like the Superman style, pushing it back as it's in reverse, do I think that would be the safest option here? Or I think I do, because that gets everyone to safety right away.
That could be a way to do it.
That moves the weight away because I'm lifting it up anyway. What
I will say, though, is the way that's described would definitely be a hull check.
Yeah, I mean, how many people are in the transport? Quite a few, I'm guessing.
You don't have a proper count, but from that transport size, there could be anywhere from like 3 to 8.
Okay. I'm gonna try that then. I'll do the hull. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and you'll get accuracy on this.
Okay.
Because you're flying and not adding to the weight.
It's another 8.
That's super unfortunate. So you get up there, and as you start pushing up on the transport to get it back on the ledge, as the weight shifts onto the ledge and off of the teetering part of it, you see as bits of the ledge start to crumple and fall into the ravine around you. It seems like the extra weight that you're getting up onto the ledge is starting to collapse the ledge underneath the transport. The shifting of the weight is redistributing the weight in such a way that the area underneath the transport is about to collapse.
I'd ask how far away CHIMERA is, because CHIMERA has the Ferris Lash.
What I will say is Chimera, after successfully doing the last thing and the speed at which you're responding, means she's probably still in the process of like tearing the thing off the side and getting the people out and asking them questions.
I'd say she's the best equipped for this situation, but
yeah, she's probably going to be best equipped for all these situations.
I would let you make a turn this into a difficult roll. You know
like
what I mean?
Heroic one,
like a not a heroic. What's a dangerous? Because here's the thing: it was just a normal roll, but we can do the thing where you re-roll it as dangerous now. So now on a 10 through 20, there is like still success, but a problem comes with that success, and over a 20 is full success because now you know what the problem is. You can do the roll for redo the check, but it's dangerous now.
Yeah. I'm considering that. I'm trying to think if I have any other options, and my only other idea is a very bad idea. So.
If you change your approach, you could redescribe this as something that uses your mech's agility or hull or engineering or systems in some way. We could change that, but so I would consider maybe doing that as the redo of the check.
Can I ask them how many are in there? Do they have like working systems? Or?
Yeah, they're like right there. You can see there are probably 4 in there.
Okay. Then instead, I'm going to try to rip off the door or open the door, ask them to open whatever. I actually have 4 arms, I believe.
You do. Yep.
So I can just try to grab them all.
Okay, so you're going to screw the transport. Let's get those people out of here as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I will let you redo the check as a dangerous check, but you now get your agility for your mech to the roll, and you still get the accuracy because you are flying and not adding to the weight.
Okay. Cool. 12.
All right. So that is success with a cost. What happens here is, unfortunately, this does take some time to do, which definitely means you'll be busy with this while people are responding to other things. But you take your time to like everyone gets up to the front. They're all, getting into your transport and jumping into your hand. The last person basically jumps out of the transport as the cliff basically collapses behind them and takes the transport into the ravine. You are able to successfully grab them, but the speed at which you have to extract him from the collapsing vessel does mean he is significantly injured. Not dead, but definitely hurt. But he is saved. And it basically has cost you time, and this person is hurt.
Yeah, and my next action is just going to be heading to Orion and wherever the triage is.
Absolutely. Then. Yep, so that'll be what you're doing now. All right, then since CHIMERA and KESTRAL are doing their things, what about Orion and COMET? What are you guys doing?
Orion... Oh, go ahead, Todd. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, since we know who they're helping, I'll find the next closest signals.
Yeah, absolutely.
And head towards one of them.
So, COMET, let's start with you then, since you have an idea of where you're going next. What you have found is that there is a mech that got itself crushed under shifting buildings while trying to shield some salvagers from the collapse. So basically someone heroically leaped in front of some collapsing stuff to protect the workers they were with. The salvagers have pulled her free of her mech's wreckage, but she is bleeding badly, and they are struggling without proper first aid or supplies.
Okay.
So the salvagers have gotten her out of the crushed mech, but she is not doing well.
I'll just radio Orion and say we need a doctor here. We need medical attention. There's a person bleeding out.
Orion, having not found a place to set up the triage location yet, will just rush over there and probably set up the triage location.
Okay,
right there.
That sounds perfectly good to me. Orion, now your check is a little bit more in person. So I assume you're actually getting out of your mech to actually just set up a triage tent.
Yeah.
Okay. You can go ahead and use your pilot check for this. This person is bleeding out and not doing good. It's taken everyone a little bit while to get to this person, so they've already lost a fair amount of blood.
Right. I guess I'll roll with patch then, because
Yep. It is already starting as a dangerous check because this person is already in critical condition. What else do you want to apply to this?
I'm going to say that Ryan is probably more in a rush than anything, so just patch. He probably wouldn't have reasonably thought ahead to prepare anything immediately, just with the severity of the current situation.
Mm-hmm. I will say that since you have set up your... since you did not need to move her, and you did not need to like send someone to go fetch her or anything, and you're literally setting up the triage stuff right on top of this person's location, I will say that you get to add the accuracy from your personalizations to add an accuracy to this roll. So it'll be dangerous, but you'll have an accuracy with it.
And we're gonna roll. I rolled a 10.
10. So that is success at a cost because it is already a dangerous roll. So it is just, man, you got to this person a little bit late. She has basically fallen unconscious, and you're unsure how quickly she's going to recover from this. She's very banged up. She's lost a lot of blood. One thing you notice while patching her up is that the workers that are all like helping her out and like pulled her from her mech are all White Rabbit workers. The person who was in this mech is a Kingfisher pilot. That is the person you've been working on.
Okay. So while I'm treating her, I'm gonna give some directions to the White Rabbit workers and be like, "You have any like supplies or medical equipment or anything that like I would list like a list of possible things that could help, like potential bandages or whatever. Go get them and bring them here. We're going to try to set up triage here as quickly as possible."
You can. Most of these people are not badly hurt because the pilot shielded them. So they are definitely people you can rope into like helping you set up your triage tent.
And then I'd ask Astro to send out notice to that the triage center will be here. That way the CHIMERA and KESTRAL would know where to send people as they get them free.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right. And then Astro, as you're moving away from the triage area that Orion has set up here, you get another signal nearby, a little bit closer towards the Kingfisher border. You see that downed wires and a haywire barrier field have made a situation where it is impossible to extract people from a forward operating base. This is actually perfectly legible from approach, a Kingfisher forward operating base that was on the border. It is destroyed, but it got destroyed in such a way that the power is still on. And the barriers that like are the defense for this forward operating base are actually what's preventing people from getting in to help them.
Okay, so these are.
This is a Kingfisher base. Yeah, so imagine like a military forward operating base. So like a couple of squat buildings with like energy barriers set up around them to be like a defensive outpost, right? In the collapsing, the weight of the ground underneath them has collapsed and shifted in such a way that now the only way to get in is through an energy barrier that people can't turn off from the outside. So what was once their defenses is now what's keeping people out from being able to get in to help them. In fact, the base was rattled around so much that the people inside can't deactivate it from the inside because they're all injured in there. Like no one can get to the stuff to turn it off. So people can't get in to help them, and the people inside can't turn off the barrier.
Their fortress has become their prison.
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting problem. Do I think I can overload the barrier somehow? Kind of short it out.
I I could see that being a possibility. How do you go about it?
If I see any sort of a power source, or even just like a if there's like somewhere I can jack in and connect
You
to
can't
like
jack
another.
in.
What's that?
Your subjectivity enhancement suite is broken.
Not me, like not me personally, but is there, if there's somewhere like I can connect a power cable?
What I would say is what your mech allots you in this situation is you could literally offensively hack this barrier using your mech if you wanted to. You could literally do like one of your hacking things from your mech in order to use your systems to attempt to overload the barrier like you were overloading a mech.
That's what I'll try to do. Like increase power to 500%. Try to short it out and bring the whole thing down.
Okay. Yeah, I would allow that. I think that's a pretty novel way to get rid of this thing. There is, as far as you know, no, like this is a good way. This is an effective way to get it, but there's nothing specifically advantageous or disadvantageous about what you're doing right now. So it would just be a straight roll.
Okay, sure. So it would be a systems check.
Just a systems check. Yep. For your mech overloading these energy barriers to open the way.
All right, let's see what we got here. So I'll roll this up. Boy, we're all rolling pretty bad today. So I rolled a 6.
All right. So the way the situation gets way the situation gets worse is this. You successfully do what you wanted to do. It works like a charm. The energy barriers overload and explode. You do power them up to 500%, but that actually catches the entire chain all the way back to the power source. The internal power source of the base blows up, and now everything's on fire, and people inside are injured. You can get in now, but now there's a ticking time bomb, and things are on fire. What do you do?
Whew, okay. I think I just have to go in there and try to get people out as fast as possible. So I'm moving around in my mech. It's a half-size mech.
Mm-hmm. You can definitely get access and a little bit of protection from your mech doing it this way, for sure.
Yeah, I can't carry people inside the mech, but I do have.
Oh, there's no room. Your mech is the size of a person. Yeah.
But I do have
like a big power loader or something.
I do have, a set of arms, and also I have manipulator arms. Do you think manipulator arms are enough to like carry someone? Could I carry 2 people?
So what I would say is because you have those manipulators, it'll allow you to do things with person-sized hands that your mech-sized hands, even being a half-size mech hands are imprecise. Right? Your mech's hands are imprecise and are more liable to crush things than to grasp them gently. You know what I mean? So what I would say is the manipulators allow you to do things more carefully.
Yeah. And that's fine. Can I carry some, like, are they strong enough to carry a person, the weight of a person?
Overloading them a little bit, maybe. They're not meant to, like, you could carry one person with both manipulators. They're about the strength of like your human arms.
So I'll go inside and I'll instruct people to grab onto my main arms, and then I'll try to carry another person using the manipulator arms.
Okay. I like what you're doing. I could see this going one of 2 ways. This is either haul or agility. You're either trying to move fast, get in and get out, and get as many people as you can quickly, or this is haul. You're trying to grab as many people as you can to get as many people out in the fewest number of trips.
Yeah, I'll try to do it as a haul. I mean, thematically, that makes more sense to me. Mechanically, both are one.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, I'm just going to be trying to get as many people I can carry out and do this in as few trips as possible.
as you're going about this, Astro, you'll just hear a voice in the side of your ear that just says, "There's no fire in space."
Yeah, that's true. If only we could, if only we could get rid of all this pesky oxygen that's on the planet.
Todd, you really should have named your AI after Michael Bay, considering the scene.
Well, if that were
Michael
the case,
Bay would explode these people. Yeah.
He would just be suggesting blowing up everything. Yeah.
And we could dance through the stars.
Blasting Linkin Park.
That's that's what I'm hoping we could do once we rescue all these people. We could dance and ponder the meaning of life all day long.
All right, let's roll it up.
Roll up.
This is dangerous now.
Yeah, I figured it would be.
Because you're specifically risking your manipulator arms to try and max out the load of your mech, I will give you accuracy on this.
Okie doke. Let me... 1 accuracy.
But it is a hull check.
Let's roll this hull check. 19.
Ooh, so close to that 20. So close.
20. Oh.
And as expected, you do push it to its limits. You are successful in getting these people out of the fire, but you are putting yourself at risk at doing so. And you do overstress your mech. Your manipulator arms are broken. The servos are maxed out, carrying all these people who are all covered in salvaging equipment. And you don't have time to strip the equipment off of them to carry them to safety. So yeah, you overload the servos in your arms until you have time to replace them. Your manipulators no longer work.
Okay. Fair enough.
They are a fine
purpose.
tool that you used to do heavy lifting. But you did successfully do it. So you get those people out, and it did give you, some extra effectiveness there.
Well, Lynch, we walked with the fire and we came out okay for now.
Not even burnt. I like the smell of a good charred burger.
Me too. Now you're making me hungry.
All right. And these people are hurt, Astro.
All right. So now that I've gotten them out of immediate danger, I'll see about ferrying them over to the triage center that Dyne has set up.
It takes you 2 trips to get them all out because there is 7 people in there. Some aren't as injured as others and can basically just helpfully grasp onto you themselves to get out of the building. But now that you're out on solid ground and away from the collapsing building, some of them can walk on their own, and you take some time. You can escort them back to the triage tent.
All right. And
all right.
I'll just radio Dyne and say, we got more injured people incoming.
All right. And by the time you all get back to the triage tent that Dyne has set up, KESTRAL, you fly back with the people you saved from the teetering transport. CHIMERA, you're able to get kind of set up there with all the people you've salvaged. COMET, you come in late with the people that you've just gotten out of the Kingfisher base. ORION, Dyne, you're just busy keeping up with the people coming in. There are even other sites nearby that weren't necessarily as big of emergencies as the others, but people kind of started funneling this way. So you guys are met with kind of a scene of everyone working, but you do get a sense that your first responder nature did help alleviate some of the issue as other responders are starting to pick up those other calls now. Getting here first has definitely helped these people, and now you see Kingfisher and White Rabbit's people getting in there and taking care of business.
Sweet.
So what do you guys do from here? What does this look like for the next hour or two. What do you guys do from here?
I'm gonna see if I can assist Dyne in any way. Like if he needs anything, I'm at his disposal.
I would
So-
just give Astro some like general like basic triage directions, like help move this person over here, help prepare this, things along that. Not actual like treating per se, but helping to keep things organized and keeping
Yeah,
people calm and things like that.
sounds good.
He's become the nurse.
I wouldn't even say that. Like I've just become like the intern that you don't want to give too much responsibility. So you're like, yeah, move this bed over here. Get this person more blankets. So yeah, I'll do whatever you tell me to the best of my ability.
All right. Yeah, you pitch in. You help alleviate some of the stress on Orion, who had only other victims to order around until you got back, who were perfectly willing to pitch in, but are also in shock themselves. What about CHIMERA and KESTRAL? What are you guys up to?
I don't think, because other responders have gotten here, that I would necessarily stop. I don't know if I'm mostly funneling injured to Dyne.
You know,
or
with
that's
your
probably what I'd
speed,
be doing.
yeah, with your speed at this point, you're probably able to start locating people just with flyovers who don't necessarily have like big emergencies at this point, but are like people who are trapped in areas, right? Like it's not necessarily that they're injured or there's huge emergencies, but like all their paths out of the area they're in are cut off and stuff like that, or they can't cross the ravine that's next to them to get back to safety and stuff like that. So absolutely, you could pitch in from here in a variety of ways.
Yeah, that's what I do until told otherwise.
All right. And then CHIMERA.
I was actually thinking something similar. Like, I think a combination of one assisting the first responders, or sorry, not first responders, the responders to, get these people to the triage tent or anywhere else. But also, I'd like to, I'm not going to spend a lot of effort on this, but just, maybe keep an eye out and figure out, like, what caused the collapse. Was it just, like, structural? Was it something man-made? I mean, just general knowledge. I'm not sure it's even worth looking into, but just keeping my eyes and ears open.
Okay. Yeah. Let's make a check for that, CHIMERA. What are you going to call that?
I want to say like an integrity check or structural integrity of the surrounding area. Like if it was like clean cut collapse versus
I actually mean more like what's your keeping your ear out. Like let's assume that you've already done the most dangerous responding. Sure. Now you're helping like clear obstructions out of the way, helping like the responders' vehicles actually get to where they need to go and stuff like that. You're doing the more run-of-the-mill heavy machinery work at this point. Yeah. But you said you also wanted to keep your ears open for like what happened here. What are you going to call that check?
Word on the street kind of comes to mind here, but it's not just talking to people. It's also like looking at the surrounding area, and that's where I'm kind of struggling. Like, I feel like maybe you're relying on my worker background, but I'm not entirely confident in any of this.
Yeah.
So
I would let you roll this at difficulty because you don't quite know what you're looking for even.
Okay. I'm okay with that. So it's just a D20 with difficulty.
Yep.
Okay. A 1. Because there's no crit fails in this game.
Yeah, so no. CHIMERA, it is just a mountain of information that you can't really sort through. You know what I mean? There's like collapses everywhere. What does that mean? You're not sure. You don't even know what the structure was like before you got here. Everyone is injured and people were upset and you're helping those people and the people are generally grateful. And you can tell that, the people who are responding from the rescue crews are thankful that you're there to kind of help out, with your although limited, more mobility than their like trucks and stuff have, right? And you're able to like bridge some gaps and clear some debris for them. People are happy, people are talking to you, but people are mostly concerned with what are they doing now? What's the best way to get to the people? What's the best way to get people out? Like, there's not a whole lot of like pondering or like off topic discussion about like what happened. There's too much happening right now for too many people to be interested in that.
That's fair. Okay, yeah. I guess that's how the dice roll.
All right. Well, like I said, it takes a little bit longer, but eventually the situation is under control. You are fairly satisfied with the work you did here. Dyne, some medics from White Rabbit actually roll in and kind of like start alleviating you from your work and be like, hey, these are our people. We'll take care of them. Thanks. You know, they tell you that, you know, whatever of your personal medical supplies that you used, you can like put in a requisition form to like base to get them replaced for you and stuff like that. But they want you to basically clear out. They're like, hey, we got it from here. You know, like,
okay,
we'll take your supplies. You can request replacements, but we got this. Yeah, it's more like thank you, but we're the people who are here to set up with this. You're a third party. We're incredibly grateful, but like, let's do it by the book from here.
I'm gonna say, I'll say, okay. I'll start like putting my stuff together and getting in my mech. I'm like, Caster, put together a list of the supplies that I used. Let's go and do a little bit of investigating to see what's going on with this sinkhole.
A list appears like just on one of your screens that is the inventory of all your medical supplies. And Caster just says, I was keeping a running tally while you were using it.
I appreciate it. All right, let's do some investigating. And so Dyne will start moving towards the sort of like a safer edge of the sinkhole to kind of get a better look.
So let me put it this way: there's the sinkhole, which is like this hole filled with rebar and pipes and like previous generations of this colony's infrastructure that's all like buried below the city. And then there's the collapsed parts of the city that are like radiating out from that. Right now, you're in those collapsed areas. There's also an epicenter. Are you investigating around the edge of the collapsed areas, or are you going to the epicenter to look at what happened there? Because those are like this is a big enough area that those count as separate locations.
I'm going to move closer towards the epicenter because Dyne wants to know what happened.
Okay. Are you going alone?
Dyne is going to ask Astro if he wants to come.
Astro will say, yeah, sure.
All right, let's go. I assume KESTRAL is still just flying around helping people. I'm not quite sure.
KESTRAL.
At the moment, until told otherwise, that I was going to keep flying around.
You've been doing flyovers. There's been less and less people to rescue as time goes on because pathways have been opened up for like the actual like rescue crews to start getting into people. And in fact, some of their flight divisions have started to arrive. So other flying mechs and like ships have started appearing to help evacuate people. It's up to you if you want to keep assisting at this point, but it does look like they might have it in hand.
After I go, like, if I go a few minutes without finding anyone that needs assistance while doing a flyover, then I'll stop.
Okay, then you can assume you're free to do what you would like at this point.
Okay.
I would have
went a few minutes. Huh?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was after a few minutes of that, and then once I don't find anyone, I start to just look around at the epicenter and everything.
Okay.
I would like to look for explosions specifically.
Okay. Where are you looking, and what does that look like to the camera?
I mean, that's just me going straight to the big sinkhole, right? Because that's where it would be. Looking around the edges mostly, looking underneath if I need to, flying over to the big hole.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So you can definitely get into it in such a way where it gives you a little bit more view on this.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say that you can definitely take a look around and look at the evidence. But it is a large sinkhole, and there is a possibility that the evidence you're looking for might be buried underneath a lot of the collapsed ruins. So I will let you look at what's here to see what you can find preliminarily.
Sure.
All right, what do you want to sell that as?
Thinking read a situation, probably.
For read a situation. Where are you? There you are, Steve. Subtext, motives, threats. Yeah, I think that I would call this a situation that you could look for subtext, motives, and threats in.
Mm-hmm.
Get a gut feeling about a situation or a person. Let's call this a situation you're going to get a gut check on.
Okay. Excuse me. Flat 20.
Yep, just your. Okay. Yeah, there's no difficulty or anything here.
18. Excuse me.
18 total. So you get a look around, and this. You're not sure what's telling you. You don't have any direct evidence that you could use to prove your look at this, but you kind of float down into the debris. You look at the various rebar and collapsed buildings, the way it like radiated between these two things. You look at where things are on the map and how perfectly it's along the border between Kingfisher and White Rabbit, how definitely Smack and Bete Noir weren't affected at all. Like what the infrastructure underneath looks like, and it's like old, but it doesn't look like it was about to collapse unless something maybe gave it a little bit of a push. You're getting a gut feeling that there was some interference here. Now, you're not positive that it wasn't just like a work crew dug somewhere they weren't supposed to, and that gave it the push over the edge. But something feels off. Your gut check definitely says that there was interference here.
Something tells me if I go to the border of Smack and White Rabbit, I might find something.
It's a possibility that yeah. So
this was a giant diversion.
It is quite possible.
Yeah. All right. I'll radio into the others and ask how it's going.
Yeah, so let's say Orion and Comet, you have arrived at the epicenter as well. What are you guys looking for here as you get Kestral's incoming message, which, go ahead, Kestral.
Hey, you guys finished with the injured yet?
Well, they kicked us out, so yes.
That's good if they don't need you.
We headed out to the epicenter of the sinkhole. See if we could figure out what might have caused it. If it was just natural, or maybe someone.
I'll fly over to them, knowing that they're near me now. Check their signatures and fly over towards them.
Maybe someone did this on purpose.
We have a secure channel, right?
Yes.
Comfortably. Okay.
Unless you tell me otherwise, I assume you're just talking on the channel that the four of you are on.
Okay.
If you tell me that you're looping in the DBC, then whoever's listening at the DBC would also be part of this group. If your operator is actively at the controls, they can link into this discussion from their end as well. So there's a chance RC is listening to this conversation as well, but you've seen no evidence of it yet.
Okay. I'll just say to everyone, this stuff shouldn't have fallen on its own, I don't think. And this is kind of, exactly the perfect thing for another pirate group to take advantage of. I'm wondering if we might see something on the border of Smack or what was the other one?
Bete Noir.
Yeah, I say that in character.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry, I will back off.
What was it?
No, you're fine.
And the voice of God tells you.
Thanks, God.
What was the other one? That's something?
Bete Noir, I think.
Yeah. Well, they're not affected at all, so I don't know.
Was this an open channel, Jay?
Yeah,
or?
It is the four of you, unless stated otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it does smell mighty something.
Do we want to go check out the borders then?
Yeah.
Worth a shot.
I would say you're probably...
Again, if we decide we want to, but it's not our job. I don't know. Do we care if the others get into their borders?
Not especially. I think we should head back to the DBC just to make sure it's okay. Not that we've heard anything wrong otherwise, but if this is a diversion, I'd rather be back at our place that we can escape from, personally.
mean,
Think
can we
the
just
kid might be able to find some movement here that we can't see?
Do any of the sensors that you placed down earlier, are they able to pick up mech signals? Jeremy does not know the specifics of the sensors.
I don't know how precise they are.
I will tell
was originally
you.
looking for energy signatures,
Yes.
right?
I will tell you, you tuned them to the things you were looking for, so they will not show the things they weren't tuned to.
Okay.
If it was a generic radar dish, then yeah, it probably could have caught like things going past. I will tell you that if you want a difficult check, you could try and like tear out all the data that's in those spikes and like try to read between the lines to see if it picked up anything extra. It would just be kind of a difficult check, but that it does give you an opening to look for something.
I feel like at least like I could probably have one or both of my AIs, if he wanted to share the data, help with that to give us a bit of an advantage.
Yeah, you're welcome to.
I'd be willing to do that, yeah. That would probably just be a systems check then?
Yeah, using your AI like this, it would definitely be systems for your mech.
Okay.
It would be difficult because I've established like that's not really what these were set up to collect data on.
Yeah, that is fine.
So are you getting this data from like streaming data, or do you need to go collect these sensors, Steve?
Well, I mean, the data was sent to me. I didn't need to collect them to get the data from them, so
yeah,
I would think that that's possible.
I would say that, yeah, you can go ahead and then take the data as it's streamed into you then.
Systems check with difficulty 3. So probably nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like you're seeing the same things that Steve saw in here originally. As your AI kind of go over these things in cycles and like try to strip down the noise and try to look at the various things that happen. I mean, on one hand, Caster is like documenting like, okay, yeah, these things are good to look at, interesting areas. On the other hand, Artemis is being like, 3 of these signals are in enemy territory. We should take that territory, and then they'll be our signals. May I recommend 3 possible assault trajectories?
I will take it in consideration, Artemis.
She has now left it in a notification on the side of your screen that has a permanent little red 1 in the corner to like taunt you into trying to open it to look at them.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
That bitch.
All right. So I'm like, okay. We can't tell. It's too much information.
Well,
What do you guys think? Should we check with White Rabbit first, or should we just head over to the border, or see if the DBC can get more information for us?
I
mean,
think
we can just call hacker person whose name is Ruination to look into that. We don't actually have to go to the DBC.
You sure can call him if you'd like.
I'll fall on that sword if we have to.
Maybe I could call up what's his name? Talonflare. Let him know our suspicions. He could appreciate the warning, and that could get us in good with them.
Well, plus, we also have to report the bunker that we found that they can pick apart for whatever they want if they want to.
That's right. The only reason I really care about taking sides in this pirate battle is I think Smack knows something about this colony, and what led to their disappearance. And that's why they're focused on the that like government district. There's probably records there that could explain a lot.
Well, I think it's reasonable to assume that they knew more going in than all of the other pirate crews. Why else would they give up such prime
Yeah.
area, right?
Yeah, clearly they could have, common knowledge among the pirates is they could have found better places to stake their claim for salvage, but they chose not to. So they have some kind of knowledge they're working off of that the rest of the groups aren't privy to. And I would bet that they were responsible for this too if it was sabotage. So, yeah, why don't I call Talonflare and let him know what we know? Anyone have any objections to that for now?
I don't think it's anything he isn't already assuming, if he's worth half his salt as a commander, but I don't think there's a problem telling him.
Probably.
Might mention that we helped him out there too. With that.
Oh yeah, I intend to do so.
And then when this happens, I'm going to send to Astro a requisition list of supplies.
Okay.
Of the medical supplies I used.
Yeah. I'll pass this along. Although I wonder if he's maybe too high level to be taking care of this.
I mean, all he needs to do is send it to whoever can, right?
Yeah. Delegate from there. All right, so on my Omni hook, I'll open up a channel to Talonflare, because I've talked to him before, right? So I have his.
Yeah, he told you to
number.
contact him for things. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll open up a call to him.
Yeah, yes, it can.
Hey, Ken, it's Astro. We're on the scene of this big sinkhole. We were actually pretty close by when it happened, and we're able to render aid to some of your people.
Yeah, I'm getting some first reports back from some of our people we have out here. Thanks, by the way. Some people are saying some good things.
Well, you're welcome, but that's not the reason I called, in fact. We're doing some preliminary investigation of the area where this happened. And, I don't want to bet all my chips on this, but it does look like this was probably the result of some sort of sabotage. Just wanted to give you a heads up.
What evidence do you have?
Well, one of our guys was flying around the area, and hey, Steve, why don't you give your report?
Well, I think evidence may be a lowercase e in this situation here. Let's just say that the city was not so bad off that a sinkhole was going to happen to it anytime soon from my look at it.
Yeah, it makes sense. We did an architectural and, structural survey of that area well before we started digging, so you don't have anything more uppercase E?
I'm not much of a construction mech here. I kind of could see the surface, and that was about it.
He whispers a curse, like, away from the microphone a little bit. Well,
it
thanks.
does seem like you might need some help on your borders, though, and if a third-party group happens to come across something at the time, well, I don't think White Rabbit's going to be held too responsible.
Yeah, he looks at the screen, and then he winks. He goes, yeah, I can't authorize anything, but, stay frosty out there.
Will do. Also, I'm sending you a requisition list of the medical supplies we use. Maybe you could pass this along to whoever can reimburse us.
That's fine. Don't worry about that. We'll get it to you. Anything else you need?
I'll say nothing for now. I'll try to see if we can find any more information about what caused this sinkhole.
If you find anything that either tells us who did it or at the very least shows that we didn't do it, that'd be great. Get that to us.
We'll see what we can do.
Also, you got that bunker we went into. So there's that.
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. Given all the events that have been happening, we found a hidden bunker. Could be a good place. It looks like a good place to get some salvage. As per the terms of our agreement, we wanted to let you know when we found anything good. So I'll send you over the coordinates. Maybe you can pass this. Run this up the flagpole.
Yeah, that's cherry. Thanks, bud. Obviously we have some more pressing concerns right now with our people, but once we can get work going again, we're gonna go check that place out. Hey, I would things might heat up soon, and I'm not exactly telling you this isn't a threat, but watch your backs.
Yeah, appreciate it. I read you loud and clear.
All right, well, I need to get back to directing things, so let me know if anything important comes up.
Will do.
He terminates the call.
All right. Let's see if we can now that we're here at the epicenter, maybe we could do a little investigating and see if we can find more hard evidence as to what happened.
Find or fabricate. If we can come up with something that makes it look like we weren't the ones that caused this, I have a feeling based on what he just said that this might just get pinned on us.
Well, if we can find something, that would be a lot less complicated than fabricating. And maybe he did mean that, but I sort of read that as there might be open war between the pirate groups here soon. And if that happens, he can't protect us anymore. Either situation is bad news for us.
While this is going on, since we're like right at the edge of the sinkhole, Bob, can I detect like any signals coming from in the sinkhole? Like other than like emergency signals, like something that would stand out?
No, there's no signals coming from the epicenter itself.
Are there any unusual, I want to say heat signatures, but like I don't know, does my mech have thermal imaging?
Very well might.
You just never turn it on in combat because you blind yourself.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, let me check something here.
I'm essentially trying to narrow down possible locations we could check if we were to investigate the sinkhole.
I think the problem comes in a sensor range, right? It would depend on your sensor range.
That's a big thing for sure.
Dyne was going to recommend that Astro use his mech and do his mergy thing with KESTRAL. That way they can, because when you do that, KESTRAL can use the sensors and stats of
that's
Astro's
smart.
mech.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if we can. Don't you? I mean, I'm also a half-size mech.
Your mech attaches itself to another mech.
Yeah, he's too small.
I think it has to be a full size or something, right?
Yeah, it has to be larger than.
Okay,
So
that's unfortunate.
I'm half size, he would have to be full size.
Or you would have to become quarter size.
Luckily,
Astro gets out of the mech and just fuses with KESTRAL.
Yeah, I've internalized all the frame components as cybernetic implants.
Are you like
the frame?
Tony Stark?
Yeah, the frame is me.
You're just becoming what's his name? The Chainsaw Mask Man that you guys fought.
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like a little mini mech that just walks around.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember his name. I like him.
I can't either. But
I have it written down. Hey, I've given you guys a huge spoiler. He's not on this planet because he's not in my updated NPC list.
Oh
no!
Well, that changes everything.
That ruins everything.
Did I kill him?
No,
we let him go.
You guys made a deal with him to take his people and leave.
Oh yeah.
Well, you didn't. You weren't there, but past Jay's character did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, if that won't work, what was your other suggestion, Dyne?
I was waiting to see if I could actually detect any heat signatures down there. Anything
gotcha.
standing out.
Yeah, what do you
out.
want to call that check?
Probably.
What kind of equipment are you using? And just make it make sense to me.
Let's see. I would imagine that mechs probably have some way to identify when not giant, but energy weapons are probably being used, which would obviously generate heat of some sort. So
Okay.
I would reasonably assume that I would have something similar, although obviously there's going to be a drop off in range as the weapon would get farther away.
So, what I'll say, Orion, is I would allow you to use your mech to kind of scan for this using its internal like self-diagnostic systems for monitoring how its own weapons effectiveness worked.
Yeah.
Because now you can't use a pilot skill trigger while using your mech like this, but because you have engineering weapon systems and reactors, I will allow you to add accuracy to this roll.
Okay. So this will be a systems roll with accuracy.
System roll with accuracy.
1 accuracy, not 1 difficulty. 21.
Nice. So here's what you learn. You learn that if you wanted to create this destruction that existed, you kind of work backwards. Artemis is very helpful doing this. This is like a diagnostic thing she's actually very good at. She examines the aftermath of destruction and then reverse engineers how you could have done this. Like how could the team of you guys have taken down this much of the city? And you're able to basically pinpoint kind of like some structural weaknesses in the old parts of the city that are now under the collapsed ruins that you can, within a tolerance range of like 3% error, basically reconstruct this entire collapse if you were to place like thermal bombs at 3 positions underneath this rubble. Theoretically, if you were able to find evidence that explosions happened in these 3 predicted places, it would kind of confirm your hypothesis.
I would share this information with KESTRAL and ask him if he can kind of look down to see, like, I know things are buried, but to see if there's anything obvious. I don't know.
You're giving me specific areas to look.
Yes,
right?
like based on Artemis's reconstruction, I would give him specific areas to look.
Could
Can we divide and conquer this? Like, KESTRAL could go to one of them, and then maybe the rest of us could check out other locations.
How easy is it for mechs to get into the sinkhole, Bob? I kind of imagine it's pretty far down.
It is like collapsed whole rebar, like piping. Like imagine if, you know how some cities kind of like build themselves on top of a city, you know what I mean? Like old infrastructure. That's kind of what's happened here. So you look down beneath what's collapsed and it's almost like a city fell on a city, right? And in between the two layers, there's just like pipes sticking out of the wall and stuff like that. I would say any of you could get down there. It's just the length of time it would take. None of you would be in danger because you're in like good mechs. KESTRAL, you'd have the easiest time of it because you could just float down. But even Orion, as bulking and large as he is, could make it down here and like traverse these ruins because like you're not a truck. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
You're ambulatory, so you guys would be able to get down here if you wanted to. It would just take some time to go through.
I feel like Orion would rather stay up at the top and kind of give directions as new information comes in.
You would definitely have the worst time of it.
Yeah, I am well aware.
Are you saying that my cable winch system would not allow me to grapple down a hole and up
You
again?
could rappel. Yeah, if you wanted to grapple, you use your grapple system to rappel down the side, for sure.
I want excuses to use my my new system, so I would like to help.
The Astro
CHIMERA can ride with Astro.
I mean vice versa, right?
Vice versa. I can.
I'm not going to ride Astro.
If I don't do anything else and it's a non-combat situation, could I fly COMET down to like one of the spots?
If it's a non-combat situation, I would say it would be slightly slower than you can move yourself, but you could probably slowly carry COMET's frame down. It wouldn't be attaching the same way, but you could get COMET to the bottom if you needed to.
Yeah, I want to drop him off at one point, go to one myself, and have CHIMERA go to the other.
It's less COMET attaching to you and more you picking him up, like...
Yeah, that's how I see it, too.
Yeah. So COMET, you can get airlifted down. You definitely wouldn't be able to do this with Orion or CHIMERA, but because COMET's about the same size as you, you could airlift him down.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Yeah, so the three of you can get down into the rubble.
And Dyne would describe what they're looking for and kind of what the explosives are. He's like, remember those things they tried to blow up part of our ship with? Yeah, it's that.
Oh. Huh.
But probably bigger.
Oh, I guess Steve would have first-hand experience with one of those.
I mean, it was like a duffel bag or something, wasn't it? I don't even know that I
First-hand,
saw them.
literally.
I might have
It
caught like a
wasn't
glimpse
his
of
hands
it, but
when it flew up.
yeah.
Well, now that you guys are down in there, what are you guys doing to double check Artemis and Orion's predictions?
So what I would like to do is use my my AI's simulacrum to kind of scan the area and feed in like a 3D render of that environment into the computer, and I'll run some simulations to see if I can detect any telltale signs that a bomb was set off.
I'm gonna look under a rock.
So yeah, that makes sense.
You look under a rock. Oh, here's the bomb. As I'm doing all this complicated stuff.
Let's say COMET, you specifically pick an area that's so destroyed that like it would be unreasonable to get down to it, right? So you're specifically using your scanning method to access an area that would be otherwise inaccessible.
Sure.
Let's start with COMET since he went off first. Go ahead and roll your scan.
All right. So that would just be a systems check, I guess, here.
Just flat out systems check.
Alrighty.
If successful, I'm going to have you do something else.
Okay, I rolled a 17. Oh,
So that's
with
successful.
accuracy. So
minus
successful.
minus
11.
6. 11. That's
Yeah.
still a success.
Yeah.
You're able to repaint in stunning detail the kind of like subway station one of the tunnels of a subway station that was buried beneath this rubble. You're able to reconstruct it in your imaging, and you're able to basically almost like in your scan peel back the layers of rubble that now overturn it, and you're able to almost picture perfectly recreate this scene that has like a subway, and you can examine the scene in this state. Hey, Comet, roll me a D100, please.
Okay. Coming right up. 1D100, and
Simulation
that's
is so
6.
accurate. Oh man, 6.
So you are successfully examining the simulation, and you're running the checks for what Orion told you to look out for, but without your noticing, something starts happening to the simulation you've created. 2 simulated people walk into the subway station.
It's the start of a bad joke.
Wait, do you say I don't notice this?
No, you notice, but
Okay.
unbeknownst to like you didn't do this.
Right, I
This is
gotcha.
not part of the simulate. This is not how the simulation should go.
Yeah.
You're examining real time what should be where you're examining.
Okay. Do I have line of sight on the area where those 2 people are, like in reality?
No, it's buried beneath rubble. The only
Yeah.
reason you're seeing this is because you've reconstructed it.
Interesting.
You see 2 people, a man and a woman, kind of like the man has like greased up hair and is wearing a leather jacket, and the woman is wearing like a polka dotted dress.
I would like to like zoom in on the render on those 2 people, and I'll just see what happens. I'll watch them.
As the 2 people kind of move onto the subway station, they both like walk to the edge of the subway station, like standing near the line, looking left and looking right, like for, when's the subway going to come, right? And you watch them for like a minute or so, and then abruptly you see the man turn to the woman and like take out like a pack of cigarettes and like offer her one. And she takes it, lights up the cigarette, puts it in, and they stand in silence for a little bit longer. You realize that this is a reconstruction of the physical location. Like there's no sound to it. Because you've zoomed in, you realize they're talking this whole time. Like their mouths are moving, but you don't know what they're saying. It's like playing a scene out.
I will try to activate a lip reading audio program to translate what they're saying and output it as a text to voice.
Okay. It basically, you get the man is saying like, Thanksgiving's going to be at my parents this year. And the woman's like, oh, ain't that a bitch? The man says, yeah, well, we got to do it. And then the woman's like, that's when she takes the cigarette and lights it up from him. And she's like, I ain't making the turkey. And it goes back to the man and says, not the turkey. And then it rewinds back to the beginning and replays that same scene.
Oh, dear God, don't tell me it's ham.
It's actually going to be pork.
Lynch, what do you make of this scene?
It's beautiful, isn't it?
I suppose it is. A little slice of life before all things went to hell. But doesn't really answer our question, which is what caused the sinkhole. Oh, zoom
No, it's the
back
right
out.
answer. You're just asking the wrong questions.
It was Thanksgiving who did it.
Is that what you're getting at? It was the turkeys. I'll zoom back out and try to see if there's anything else I could see in this rendering.
Yeah. So you are able to find the things that Orion told you to look for. It does appear to the best of your sensor's abilities that there is evidence of thermal scarring on the infrastructure beneath this rubble.
Okay. So this is I'll compilate that data in a nice little package and save that. So that's something we can send off to Talonflare later, and I'll tell the rest what I found.
Okay. Let's move on to Chimera. You're literally just trying to get at one of the sites, right?
Yeah, I'm just doing it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, go for it. There's nothing particularly dangerous or advantageous to what you're doing. You're just trying to reconfirm this info.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what... Do you just want a dice roll, or do I describe how I love moving rocks around?
Well, if that's what you're doing, that sounds like a hull check to me.
It is a hull check, you're right. I will do just that. Yeah, I mean, my goal is to sort of move it in such a way that I'm able to get deeper. I'm not sure if that could be... Like, I'm thinking about like this from a miner's perspective, going deeper into an area without causing any trouble.
I'm afraid this circumstance will not give your background bonus.
Fair enough. I'll check it is. Hey, good roll for change. 19.
Hey, 19. Yeah, you're able to move some of the larger pieces of rubble out of the way without like destroying the site you're trying to get to. And you see like like the basement of what used to be a tavern. And yeah, you're able to find the same thermal scarring that Orion told you to look out for. You're able to mark it and take readings from it.
Cool. Anything, any remains in this tavern? Like, I'm thinking about it, like, circling back to the whole, like, hey, everyone disappeared in one night type deal. Like, is there any sort of, like, signs of, like, documents or anything that could potentially say, like, hey, this was going to be happening soon or something?
If there was, it was destroyed by the collapse. You're barely able to show like that there was a space here. Like you're just barely able to tell what this space is. Anything that was inside the space is gone.
It would have gotten destroyed by the
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
They even destroyed all the alcohol. You can't take any of that either.
Why is all the rum gone?
All right, and Steve, you're checking the third site. Why don't you tell me about it?
I don't have anything fancy to do, no sensors or anything, so I'm just going to do a hull check.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and peel back the surface.
That's a 4.
4. Yeah, I mean, you try to get down to it, but it's just daunting. There's not a whole lot of leeway here to get to what you're looking for. Definitely
fine.
This part of the hole is quite filled in.
Okay, that's fine. My main thing was bringing COMET here anyway, so I'll just go back after I'm done looking and then pick him back up.
All right. With that info, Orion, after getting it back, you're fairly able to confirm with a decent amount of certainty that, yeah, you think that your simulations bear out in the data. This is probably what happened.
Okay. I would compile that data into like a report. Have Caster put
Orion.
into a
All right,
report.
so let's call up Talonflare again and send him the data we have. I think he's going to really appreciate that.
Sounds good.
All right, I'll dial him up again.
Jeremy, you there? I think we may have lost Jeremy.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you just stepped away for a second.
He did mention something about his internet being kind of spotty.
He's typing.
Okay. That's internet being finicky. Then we'll move on for now. COMET, you were going to message Talonflare with what you found, right?
Yep. So, I'll just, I won't call him up unless he wants to reply back.
Okay.
I'll just
So you
send
just
him a
send some
message
data his way.
saying, I think you're gonna I think you're gonna like this, or not like it, but I think you're gonna find this useful. And I'll send him a data package of the evidence we found, including my scans and what Evelene physically found the thermal
I'm back.
scarring.
Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. He will receive that. You'll get a confirmation that he received it and will review it, but he does not call you.
Okay.
You just get the notification that he read your message.
Yeah, and then I see 3 dots, and then they go away, and I'm like, what was he gonna say?
Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, I mean, other than what you found, is there anything else you want to do here before you leave?
My vote is, I think we've done all we can here. Let's go back and make sure the ship is secure and be ready. You know, Talonflare did kind of give us a little warning that things might go to shit soon, so maybe we should be ready to make a quick getaway. Or
I agree.
be ready to fight. Either way, I'd rather get back to our ship and make preparations.
Sounds good.
Can we say for sure which pirate group did this based on the last guys that attacked? Like, we knew they were from
Smack.
yeah, Smack.
So, I like it. The way Dyne interprets it. We know we can reasonably assume it was sabotage. So unless the White Rabbit is sabotaging themselves, it is likely another crew.
It seems unlikely that Kingfisher would also, because they got impacted by this as well, so we could potentially rule them out.
I mean,
I'm willing just
if we're
to
pretty sure they're the
assume-
same charges that were used on us, that helps narrow it down to Smack as well, right?
True.
I don't know if we have hard evidence that it's Smack, but I'm willing to just pin the blame on them.
I mean, if we're sure, if we went right to go help them check on their borders or something, if something was going to happen, it's going to be there, right?
Most likely. I agree. We should at least head back to the DBC and check in, and then we can decide whether or not we want to go check out the borders. I think that's probably the safest move right now.
Works for me.
Yep.
All right.
Let's make the trip back then. Keep your eyes out.
All right, so you guys take the trip back to the DBC. As you arrive at the DBC, you open up, you get your mechs loaded in. From what you can tell, loading in, people are up in the mess hall at this point.
Okay. Let's head up there. I want to ask RC some questions.
All right. When you guys head up to the mess hall, from down the hall, you can hear a bit of this, but it seems like there's an ongoing argument happening between RC and September-ish.
I'll eavesdrop a little bit before entering in the mess hall. As I want to do.
You get the gist of the conversation as you're approaching, which is RC is arguing that he wants to modify the ECM systems of the ship to allow him the ability to override some of the engineering limits of the ship. Curry disagrees and says that that's incredibly dangerous and stupid.
Okay.
But that is the core of the argument. They keep saying different bits of the argument, but the other is just rebutting them. And you can tell it's gotten to the point where they're just actually angry with each other. It's like they're not as accurately just making points anymore, so much as they're like, how are you such an idiot? Why, like that kind of arguing where they're no longer like arguing their points as so much as they're like yelling at each other for not listening to them, right?
Yeah. Okay, Astro will come in and say, well, hello, everyone. How's everyone faring?
Curry stops, as you come in and goes, hey, boss. RC does not stop when you come in and turns to you and says, where did you get this guy?
I'll just say, hey, now watch it. Curry's helped us through more than a few jams.
Curry crosses his arms and stares down RC. And Ruination Conditioning is like, listen, you guys hired me to help with your stuff. Your stuff is out of date. It's old news. It's not good. If you want me to fix it, I need to fix it.
All right, well, that sounds like a good conversation to have, but at a later date. We've got more pressing matters at hand currently, so the current systems will just have to do.
Spoken as a true leader, delegating work.
Not even delegating work, just kicking the can down the road.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Listen, RC, I was wondering if you got any sort of interesting data when the sinkhole happened.
I mean, all of our systems, record like the last 24 hours of the data they receive. We can scrub through the data if you're looking for something specific, but what are you expecting to find?
Do we pick up any communications from the other pirates, like on general comms?
General comms during that time? I mean, that's still hours and hours of audio data. I mean, we can set a few things to like sieve through the data and try to find keywords if you want, but I don't think you want to hear about a bunch of people telling each other they need a guard shift change and people go into the restroom.
Well, I don't.
And if it wasn't on public comms, then we don't have it.
Yeah, likely if there's anything going on nefarious, it wouldn't be getting coordinated through public comms. Be that as it may, let's do a search with a few filters, ship through the data, the comms data from the past hour or so when this implosion happened in the middle of the city. See if there's any chatter from the SMAC pirates concerning this implosion and the disaster that followed.
All right. Yeah, we can set that up. I'll pull down the comms data.
All right, sounds good. What about our hostage? Anyone check in on him?
Yeah, boss. I've been taking care of him. He's I think he's about ready to come around. Doesn't look as distressed as they used to.
Think he might talk?
I don't know. You'll have to ask him. I'm willing to come along and check him out with you if you want.
Let's pay him a visit.
All right.
All right, I'll head over there.
All right, Astro, you and Curry head over to the hostage that you guys have taken. Curry, kind of like does the few things he needs to do to like override the door to open because like the panels are all broken on the door because that's how you've made this makeshift containment room. And the door slides open to like a normal looking crew room, basically. But there's like a very injured person kind of unconscious in the bed.
He
ain't writhing around anymore. Now he just looks like he's sleeping. He hasn't woken up from what I've seen yet, though.
I'll give him a little shake on the shoulder. Nothing violent. I'll be like, hey,
yeah, you shake them, but they're like on the edge of waking up. They like open up their eyes a little bit and they're like, ugh, what happened? Ugh. And then they pass out again.
I'll radio Dyne. Hey, Dyne, can you get over here to the hostage room? And I'd like to wake up our prisoner so I can talk to him. Get him fully alert. Maybe bring a few stems.
Alrighty. Sure, come away.
All right. Yeah. Dyne, you head on over. You have some med supplies with you. What do you guys want to do?
I'll ask Dyne. I want him conscious and alert so I can ask him a few questions. Do what you need to do.
Oh man, that's a dangerous thing. All right. Well, first I would make sure that the patient is secure, so that even when he is awake, he won't be able to do much.
Okay. Yeah, Curry will help you in getting some restraints set up.
And then I would probably just give him a stim to try and just wake him up.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. No check needed here. They are stabilized enough from what you guys have done previously that they kind of like wake up with a start and they're like, oh. It, like, you can see they immediately start like rattling the restraints, trying to pull themselves off. They look around like the trapped animal.
I'll say, okay, hey, calm down. Nothing bad is gonna happen, but we just need you to remain calm, okay?
Who are you? Where am I?
Well, I'd say we're the people you tried to, whose ship you tried to blow up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what playing dumb gets you in this situation. We found you on the scene. We incapacitated you. Incapacitated. Astro doesn't know how to pronounce words. And the rest of your friends, I'm afraid, are dead.
What friends?
Well, I don't know if you're friends or co-workers, whatever you want to call them, colleagues. The people you were with when you tried to blow up our ship.
I didn't try to blow up nothing.
All right. Let's start somewhere else. What's your name?
Tinny.
Tinny?
Tinny.
Okay, Tinny. What was the last thing you remember doing?
I was hanging out with my buds. We were having a few drinks, and then someone knocks me upside the head in the bar, and I wake up here. You some kind of weirdo?
Tinny. Listen, I don't like this situation any more than you do. And I should tell you that we haven't handed you over to the White Rabbits. So we could do that, and things would be a lot worse for you. Or you could just tell me who sent you, why you're trying to blow up our ship, and maybe we just let you go. Because honestly, having a hostage on our ship, it just complicates things.
Looks around, looks at his restraints, looks at the three of you standing over him. Curry is making himself look as intimidating as possible. Like, cross his arms, just staring at him angrily over your shoulder.
Yeah, Dyne is just standing there holding a syringe.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm picturing. He looks around, he like tests his restraints a little bit. He goes, "Look, Tinny likes to be a friend to everyone, so why don't we talk about what friends do for each other, huh?"
Okay. Yeah, sure. We could be friends, Tinny. And you know what? Friends tell each other stuff.
Yeah, friends keep promises too. So maybe you promise to let me get back to my other friends if we have a nice chat.
All right, I think that's a fair arrangement.
He like nods at you, looks at the other two, gets worried, and then looks at you again.
I'll say, don't worry about them. You and me, we're best pals. So, what do you want to talk about, Tinny?
Well, how's your jobs going? What's work life like?
Let's talk about something more interesting. Anything exciting happened to you in the past, I don't know, day or two?
Yeah, I know some people who are big shitheads where I work. He You probably don't want to hear too much about them, but I'm willing to name names for some people who wanted to get some stuff done.
I want to hear all about them.
All right, well, listen. Where I work, there's a lot of up-and-comers. That's not, uncommon. People come in, they make a name for themselves, they rise up the ladder. Boss is real big about this whole proving yourself stuff, right? He's a big bootstraps man. But you know what? People don't like where I work is when people come in from out of the blue and end up in positions of power. I know some guys like that, wanted to get some things done. And you hear of this Mark Iron Man?
Mark Iron. I don't believe I'm familiar.
So, Astro, are you, Todd, unfamiliar, or do you think Astro doesn't know this?
I'm unfamiliar.
I have a note saying
as a player.
that Don Han and Mark Iron are tipping the balance of power amongst the pirates.
So, Astro, I'm going to remind you of something because it's been a while since we played. The last time you spoke to Jessica Buzz Honora, she communicated to you that she wants info on people named Donahan and Mark Iron, who are shifting the balance of power amongst the pirate crews.
I just pulled up my notes and I have that. Okay. So then Astro will say, I've heard that name before. Why? What do you know about him?
He's an uncomfortable guy. And a lot of people I work with don't like him, but the boss gives him a lot of authority, so we got to do what he says,
Okay, so you work for him.
I don't want to say I work for him. I would say he puts out the contracts, and then we're heavily implied to be needing to get things done,
Okay. And so did he...
That's not the way smack works,
So did he want our ship gone?
I would say, he said something about a new ship. Not one of the pirates around here coming to town. That he, didn't want to be here the next time he checked.
I see. Whoa, how do you think he's going to react when he realizes it still is here?
I mean, I don't know. This guy's a weirdo, He arrived with a uptight batch of shitheads, is what I'll say. Fuckers. Doesn't get along with the rest of us. But they are scary strong. They suck.
And what do they want from this place anyway? Specifically this Mark Iron guy and his crew.
They joined up. They showed up one day out of the blue. Boss said, hey, this is my new lieutenant. Brought all of his own guys on board. None of the up-and-comers I know about. Just came out of blue, and all of a sudden he's wielding power all over the place.
Do you know what he's doing before this?
No one does. There's rumors, though. I heard. He leans in conspiratorially to you. He's like, I heard this guy used to be part of one of them Farfield teams going out into the darkest space, and people said he came back changed by something.
Astro does like a mock gasp, and he's like, you don't say.
So Dyne will go, a Farfield team, huh? I was part of a Farfield team once. You happen to remember its name? Or any rumors about it?
Hell if I know. All rumors. I heard some people say that this guy used to be Corsac, one of the disgraced colonels, Corsac, who was so, up his own ass that he made a little petty kingdom out of a planet. And when they finally pried his cockroach ass out of the planet, they didn't want to kill him. They didn't want to make a news story out of him. So they just sent him out here to live with the rest of the bums out in the periphery. I heard maybe like 5 different stories about this guy in as many days.
What about the name Donahue? Does that ring any bells?
Donahan? Yeah.
Donahan.
I know Donahan. He's Pound's new advisor.
Okay. How does Donahan and Mark Iron how's their relationship? You get along?
I've never seen them interact with each other. But I don't see Mark Iron very often, you see. I mean, less so do I see Donahan. I'm not in the inner circle. All I know is Mark Iron gets with some of my guys, says, listen, you got to do some jobs, and we have jobs that need doing, so pick one and get doing. And then we got doing.
I see. So you're just saying you're just a grunt, you do what you need to do, right?
Hey, I'm just trying to live here,
That's really a shame, because I was hoping you were more higher up the food chain and you'd have useful information to tell us. Since you don't, I think we just got to give you up to the White Rabbits.
Hey, I thought friends kept promises.
Yeah, well, the promise was if we have an interesting conversation, we'd let you go. So far, this conversation hasn't been interesting.
I told you all kinds of interesting stuff. I told you about the Mark Iron guy you're interested in. You asked about Donahan. I told you I knew that he existed. I could tell you. He looks around panicked.
Can you tell me why Smack is here in the first place?
Salvage? Boss says salvage here.
You must hear other things.
Of course I hear
other. If it was for
things.
salvage, they would have staked out the best claims.
It was Donahan's idea.
It's Donahan's idea.
Yeah, he said don't go for the normal stuff. At least that's what I hear. Listen. I could tell you what I know, but now I'm starting to think maybe I shouldn't tell you, because you're just, no matter what I say, you're just going to tell me no deal.
Well, no, that's interesting of what you said about Donahan. Tell me more.
Well, what I hear from my friends is that Donahan is the one who told Pound that this is the area we needed to take care of, and whatever we needed to give up to get it was going to be worth it, and he could guarantee that.
There must be rumors flying around about what he's after.
Well, I know he's taken, Pound has taken some teams, and the only people around allowed to staff up the core city hall is that Mark Iron guy's team. They're the only people who are doing kind of the internal security there. We turned the city hall into kind of like our base of operations. We're all operating out of there. But the only people who are allowed to delve through the place is that Mark's team. All the rest of us are just living in a little tent village all around the streets.
No one from Mark Iron's team ever ever gets drunk, says something maybe they shouldn't?
He looks at you very seriously and goes, no, they're weird. They don't like talking to any of us. They're always in perfect... What's the disciple? They're all into discipline. That's the one. They're all very disciplined.
All right. So they're professionals.
I've never seen pirates like them before.
Does it feel more, how do I put this? Military, or does it feel more, I don't know, robotic? How their actions, just in general.
Well, I don't. You think they're robots? Maybe I should. Maybe I didn't hear that rumor, but I could see someone coming up with that. They look like pricks with a stick so far up their butt it's going to come out their eye.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. What about this? What about this sinkhole? Hear
What
anything
sinkhole?
about that?
He's been unconscious this entire time.
I know. I wanted to see if he would say something that would indicate he did know about it.
I don't know about no sinkhole. The only important thing that I knew coming up was going to be happening is we were going to get some new people on planet.
So you're expecting more?
Well, from what I heard is that all of Mark's people weren't here yet. So they were supposed to... what day? He looks around the room for a clock. He's like, what day is it?
I'll tell him.
Yeah, they were going to arrive today. A couple hours ago, actually. Looks at the clock.
Oh boy. All right, interesting. Did you have any other jobs lined up after this?
He like looks around and goes, well, the rest of those people who were doing nothing suspicious that I was hanging out with, what happened to them?
Out of character, did they all die? Is he the only one left?
Yes. Uh-huh. Well, unfortunately, they decided to try to fight a mech, and you can imagine how well that went.
Oh, they must have been really drunk. That sounds dumb. If that is the case, my proclivity would be to find a way to get back to Moot, and I hear the affiliation's offering sign-up bonuses.
Oh?
Let me say, I don't want to go back. I just don't want to be here either.
All right. Well, yeah, I would say the Smack probably wouldn't welcome you back with open arms.
Yeah, I got that impression. Thanks.
Well, I see no problem with that. I think we got the conversation I was hoping for. You could stay on our ship, and if we could drop you off at Moot once we're out of here.
Yeah, listen, that's fine with me. I will make myself unobtrusive. I will,
Well, you're gonna stay locked into this room, so
that it's a hard bargain you're running there. I understand where you're coming from. How about I will do exactly that. You just make sure I get to Moot and get some meals in between now and then, and I'll even pay you a transport fee.
Well, that'll be interesting to see.
I got my savings in the bank back on Moot. You get me back to Moot, I'll pay you the price of a ticket.
Well, we could talk about that later. For now, why don't you make good on your promise to remain unobtrusive by staying in this locked-in room?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm not. My time. What were we talking about?
Oh man, there goes your memory.
What's Man, that's real basketball. And then he falls asleep. The stim has worn off now.
Stim worn off, yeah.
I was about to say, if you can fall asleep on command, I want to have that ability.
Dyne just put the syringe away. I don't think we need to give him another one.
Nope. He actually gave us some interesting information, more than I thought he'd be able to spit out.
Well, you should compile that and send it to, who was it wanted again? Hale, I think?
Honora wanted it.
Honora?
Yeah. Part of our arrangement, or should I say extortion.
Ah, yes, your friend Buzz.
Yes. He wanted me to look out for any information about those two. So I would say I definitely picked up some intel. But as it stands, enemy of my enemy,
Yeah, makes sense.
All right.
All right. Let's leave him in here, lock the door, and
I'll also say we could probably take off his restraints.
You sure, boss?
Yeah, he's harmless. Just leave the door locked.
All right.
Well, watch, he has like ruination condition abilities to like hack doors or something.
so
on
we're
a
fine.
door that there's nothing on the inside that he can actually do that with.
All right, I'll release him. Don't worry. I'll keep up with his fiends.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, you've gotten some interesting information. You successfully saved a bunch of people from both Kingfisher and White Rabbit from the spontaneous sinkhole. You've reported what was under the community center, and you have a variety of new leads and dangers. So I will call that a fairly productive session. So we're going to go ahead and call it here for now, and then we will pick back up and see where you're going from there. How does that sound?
Sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.